Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising, today is a new day to start again. It is 6/20/2025. Let's get it again. That's better. Boom, baby. Pacers won Game 6 at home in the NBA championship. It's the second time they've been in the championship series. It's been a long time, 25 years, but they are there for Game 7 on Sunday. It was a huge game. I don't need to get into it, but most dominant game of the playoffs for the Pacers. I've been watching them for a while. I indulge in the Indiana Pacers because I have some nostalgia from them. I've literally been a fan of them for 30 plus years. And I would say, and I've said before, that out of all the teams that I've ever rooted for, I probably have always been the biggest Pacers fan out of all of them. Because I had a lot of fun watching games with my father and with friends and family. And that's when I really started to understand what being a part of a fan base was when I got to witness and be a part of the Pacers. So I do enjoy it. So that's why I have allowed it. But it's funny because I have been watching games and trying to watch highlights and stuff. As you watch that stuff, it's like it draws you into the entire thing, the entire, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it as a conspiracy person. Mainstream. My contention is that almost all of this is, I don't want to get deep into it. So whenever I am indulging in the Pacers, I'm kind of being a hypocrite. But at the same time, I do think that it's fun. Sometimes you have to have an outlet for yourself. So I'm just being wary about it and make sure I don't invest too much of my emotions into it. But it's hard not to. And enjoyed the game, and I'm going to enjoy Sunday watching the game wherever I have a whole plan. But it's just nice to have something to look forward to. So Friday is today. I'm going to take today and I'm going to try to build on my success. I also had some pretty good success at work. If I could put together a good week, work on my karaoke songs, and I really want to work on my short story. I need to get myself going on that. Just one short story. Just say, okay, I did at least a short story. This is a short story by David Michael Clark. That's not that hard to do. So I'm going to try to do that, and I don't need to make it that important, but I want to work on my house as well. So I have the next, week that I basically try to treat each week 1 week at a time. And I'm in midweek right now until I get my days off. And Sunday is going to cap off my days off at 5 o'clock. So then I'm going to have the Pacers game at 7 going into a 2-day off situation. So that's a lot to look forward to. I'm trying to keep these videos a little shorter, and I'm still on page 1. Sorry, I do get into conjunction. I can see a future today, though, that I wasn't able to see yesterday. And it's the same thing it was yesterday, other than the Pacers won. So maybe that does make a difference. I'm trying to keep quiet, stay balanced, and remember what has made me successful in the past, because I know how to succeed at my job. I'm in an outlet center. It's a big one. And it's a great environment, really, honestly, other than some tweaking here and there. There are not many that understand the dynamics of cash and carry, outlet furniture, and mattress than this guy. It just is a fact, but they don't know that. They don't believe that. They're not part of it. They'd have to go and talk to the people that I had worked with before and then be honest with them about what I did, because I have a lot of success in this, and I know how to. It's not really just using the tools that have already been, developed by people that were successful. But it's not for me to tell them how to do things. My goal is to work on price tags. That's my new thing. I need to know the environment. It's one of the things that are deficiencies in it is the organization, basically. So one thing that I can do to improve my income while I'm working is to make myself more aware of the pricing structure and the availability, what I can sell off of. So to make myself more profitable with the customers that I get walking through the door. And then also can work on networking to try to get more customers in the door, which I can use some of my abilities to do that too. But I guess my point is, as long as that store stays where it is, there's just not, I mean, there's no way that I can't succeed. I've had too much skill set in it. So as long as I keep my ego out of play. So you put me in a room talking about this kind of structure, and I know what I'm talking about. I know how to run it. I know how to execute. I guess I have to show. They don't know, like I said. So my goal isn't to show them. I mean, that would be selling myself. I just go out and do my job. How do we make money while I'm in the store is what you really should be working on. Just because money is really the way that it's all defined. It's not, you're useful by how much you can help to. So here's what I would say. The silent thing about all of this is it all comes down to customer service. You can have whatever it is, but the one thing I like about a cash and carry store is you can have front to back end control of the transaction. And that gives you the ability to really make you what it is that you're selling, because people will come back to that. So that's why I was telling, as I was working a little bit, if you're in that kind of a store, as a sales associate, it's very important for you to front end the sale, middle end the sale, and end the sale at the end. Be there to greet on the way out the door on the way out. And one thing I've always heard is tell your friends and family about us. If you put a seed in their head that when they go home and they've had a good customer service experience and they tell the first 3 people that they talk to, that right there, and especially if you get them saying your name or how to come back to you because you were the central part of that customer service, that gives you the ability to really make things very exponentially better. And that's just 2 really simple things that you can learn. So that's what I'm just going to try to execute. But in the meantime, while I'm trying to get to that point, that's the smallest one. It doesn't even matter what happens on either end. As long as I get that customer at the front of the door and they ask me what they want and I figure out what they want and we come to a fair price, and then they go around to the back and then I get it all done and they take it and go. That is those 2 things, just those 2 things, basically. And then if they have a question when they call back, and any promises that you make, you have to fulfill those promises. It's really simple, but that is what grows a business. See how passionate I get? But that's just, so the big advantage that we have at that store is take it home today, because there's not very many places that you can still do that at. It's a paper. I was trying to figure out what was shaking. So this is a volume-based job. The big thing about what I'm talking about, so what people want today, this is what I would center on in this kind of retail environment, is a guy that's sitting at home and his recliner breaks. He's like, dang it. He didn't even want to get up out of his chair. So he grabs his phone and he goes, I need a new recliner. Oh my gosh, there's so many. And then he goes, I need a new recliner near me. And that kind of siphons it down to a few. And then he says, I only have $500. Where can I get a recliner that's $500? And then if you can get yourself to be somebody that is that, somewhere in proximity of where that guy says that, and then he can look, this is what he wants to do. He wants to get on there and see 3 or 4 recliners that are in his price point. And even if he has to drive to 2 or 3 places, he'll do that. But ideally, he'd like to get into the position where anytime any furniture need that he has, all he has to do is go hit. He might even get to the point where he just knows that David's furniture over here is where it is, and he can just go there. Now he knows because he's done it so many times. But in event that David's isn't there anymore, he could still, but that's the whole point. Let's make it, I don't want David's. Whatever your name of your furniture store is, you want your guy to remember this experience of, hey, I need a recliner, $500. There's one. That's $700. I don't know. I'm going to go try that let me see. That's available. All right. I'm going to go to that store. And the guy gets there and goes, yeah, there's other recliners out there. You can probably find that same recliner for less than $700 if you really shop it. But this is here. This is ready for you to pick up and you can take it home today. And your $700 recliner is in a very fair price point. That guy's going to be like, so I can get this one for $600, but I got to pay $300 for shipping if he's really diligent about it. And your number is in a place that's fair. That's all you have to do is work out a price point that's pretty fair. And you can weigh that towards how good your customer service experience is. Because if that guy comes in there and he is wined and dined after he does what he said I want a $500, and he goes in there and he goes, this is what I'm looking for, and you show him that, and you wine and dine him, you can get him up to $900. You might even be able to step up to the advanced version of it if you create a good customer service experience. And if he still is fulfilled at the end of that, from original intent to the end of service, your profit margin can vary, but you have to have it set up. My point is, you just have to be very knowledgeable and clear. I think it's important to be clear with your pricing. And I think it's important to be clear with what you are offering and what it is as an advantage to the other people that are around you. And that is, you just looked at it, you came to my store and you picked it up and you had it delivered. You could have this delivered the next day. Amazon's fast. You could figure out drop ship systems and things like that for things that you want faster. Primarily, people do want to try items, regardless of how long they've been involved with a place or with a company. If they get the same like mattress over and over, if they know it's the exact same one and they get the amount of time, I guess that's one of the places where you could get kind of the same thing over and over again. Well, we're already at 13 minutes. Anyways, all I'm supposed to do is work on price tags where my job is and try to just keep my head down and worry about what I'm trying to do moving forward, which is front end to back end of my sale. And I think that I can grow from there as long as this place where I'm at stays where it's at. So that's what I'm going to keep trying to do. And maybe figure out ways to do some deal of the weeks and things like that. Anyways, I think people would pay more money just for the transparency, honestly, of, listen, we got to pay our employees a little bit more money here because employees, these jobs are hard and inflation's hard. So our prices are a little bit more, but it's local people here that are working and they're going to show you that. I just think that there's ways that we could move into a situation where because the dynamic is, if you go to the lowest price possible out there, that's where these outlet problems came into play in the past, is if you go to the bottom dollar, you're going to get bottom dollar service because you can't maintain volume with bottom profitability and have any kind of personal involved, because you have to pay people to do stuff and they have to make a living. So it's justifiable to have more expense in buying a product if you know that money is going to a business of people that are trying to actually better themselves. And this is just I know I'm in la la land, but for instance, Goodwill. I would feel so much better about going to Goodwill if I knew those employees were making $30 an hour. I would feel way better about it. And even if they aren't that strong, and I don't even care if there's only a few and it's like a lottery system to get in there. At least when I'm going in there and I'm putting my money out there, I know where that money's going, as opposed to some freaking Goodwill. That is something that would intrigue me. I'm willing to really literally get into an Amway type situation if I felt like it was true, like a real true like community of that would be something that would be interesting to see. I just think everybody's tired of the bullshit, honestly. But you have this balance between heavy labor and heavy volume. So if you have like that's what I was saying. If you have a cheap product, you have the cheapest bottom of the barrel product, and you sell it for the lowest price, then anybody can come and buy that. And so what you're trying to do is facilitate that as a fast, because you can't have 100 people in line waiting to buy something that is way underpriced, and then you just don't have volume on it. All you're going to do is create 100 angry people. So if you're going to have 100, if you're going to have that, you have to have the manpower, and then you have to pay that. So the problem is, and that's what's happened over the course, is we're outsourcing that manpower because we don't want to pay people that actually have to do the job. We just want to suck up the money from it. So we want to increase efficiency. So it's just been that's trickle down economics at its finest. So that's just not working anymore. You know why? Because the people that were on the bottom of that finally said, nope, not doing that. Because I'm sitting around the same tables with you people while you're eating freaking lasagna and I'm freaking like starving over here, and then you're like looking down on me. It's just ridiculous. So now what people are trying to do is scale that back to lighter labor. They want less people to have to work. So they want automation. They want, the computerized stuff to work better, but you still need people to facilitate that. And you need high level type people that are at least able to understand, because it's more of a managerial type thing now. And so that takes a certain type of skill set. But it's more nepotism, honestly. I think right now we are more into the people that are getting paid or the sons and daughters of affluent people. And regardless of some of them are very scholastically, they've done really well, but they also had a lot of support to do well. A lot of people succeed because they've never had to face failure. And that's just the way it is. They've just been blessed. What you can do though, if you want to try something, kids, is you can be really blessed like I was, and then you can just self-destruct and screw it all up, and then you have to rebuild everything from a different perspective. So that's really the balance, though, that's wrong in America. That's what it comes down to, is people want low prices, but they don't want to pay the workforce for the low prices. They want to benefit off of what they've gained by people working, and they will try to equate that to things that they've done in the past, which is all pride and ego. There's really just no confusion. What people don't want is confusion. They want to be clear, they want to understand motives. They want to also know, did I get a good deal if I bought something? Do I feel justified in what I paid for it? And having the whole up and down pricing, the was now pricing, is just it's just not in line with what is going to be the future. So the longer you're holding on to things that are from the past that are no longer going to be, the slower you are going to be to advance and grow the way everything's going to be. You don't want to be the last one selling buggy whips. So I'm going to work on my songs. I'm going to work on my golf. I'm going to work on my house. I'm going to work on my short story. I'm going to stay locked in at work and put my hat on. I'm not going to wear a hat, but I'm going to put on my uniform. I'm going to go in. Good things have been happening. My heart is in this. I have been feeling very defeated recently. I was trying to psych myself up in the beginning of June that this was going to be this amazing summer of love. I started to feel like there was love in the air, honestly, I did. But my financial and sociological situation is really hard. So it's hard to stand in front of people when I'm still just struggling so much. I didn't mean to do that at the end. Center in here. You can turn tears into a smile, and even a frown, and even into a snarl. I'm not done yet, said the Pacers. We're going game 7. We're going to see what happens. I like that. Dang it. So sappy. I'm not trying to be like a sap here. It's been very emotional for me recently, though. I have to spend a lot of time alone and work through a lot of loneliness on my own. And when you don't have support, you have to be the one telling yourself, you got to do better here, dude. And you also have to be the same one that's saying, but it's all right. It's hard to be both of those dynamics with yourself. But that's really just what you need. So I'm not done yet. With New Day to start, I'm not done yet. You think it's a joke? I'm not done yet. It's not over. Still give me some time. I'm working this out. My fatherhood's still alive because I'm still alive. My girls, I think they're doing really well. I try to communicate as much as I can with them. I really do wish I had a better standing. And that's what I'm trying to strive for. And that's what's hard is when you feel like you're going backwards from that. And you're like, man, I'm just really trying to bear down. And you have to be patient because the fulfillment of your struggles is gratified with gratefulness. It takes some time, though. You have to be grateful. You have to keep showing that you're grateful. That's what you have to do. You have to keep showing, even when it's the hardest that it can get. You just keep getting up. Keep showing up where you're allowed to show up. Where you're allowed to show up. And you do your best. And your allowance will get larger. I fucking fell apart here. Dropped the F-bomb at the end. I really didn't mean to do that. This is why these videos are just gain no traction. I don't know how to get it synchronized into the right situation, but whatever. I'm enjoying it. This did help me. So every day seems to be very monumental. I mean, in the world, we're on the brink of so many different things that literally you never know what you're going to wake up into. And all of this could be completely meaningless in like 3 days because of how crazily volatile the world is right now. And then your own personal life, you're dealing with what you have, you're in your own struggles, and you're just like praying every day. And like I said, I feel like I'm at the peak of my experience, and I just really want to enjoy it. So that's what I'm trying to do. And like I said, these videos help me to do that. Hope everybody has a great day. Sorry for the long-windedness. Do great, be grateful. And if you have something to give, just give it. That's the best way to do it. Have a great day.